Hello. All right. Test one, two. Test one, two. Can you guys hear me? Haven't done a live stream in quite a while here, so go ahead and give me a thumbs up or a yeah, we can hear you, or something if you can hear me. I got a yeah and a hi and a thumbs up from KB3D. Hey Chris, how are you? I'm wearing my orange to represent. I've got my KB3D, my KB3D mug in hand. But unfortunately, I am drinking a caffeinated beverage right now. So, yeah. So, hey, hello, people. Can you hear me good? Is this volume good? I haven't done a live stream in like forever. And part of the problem is that I've switched over to using, keep it simple, basically a machine that allows me to record multiple cameras at the same time and then later on edit them so I get the best camera angle, which isn't so great for streaming because in streaming I tend to use OBS and that had nothing to do with OBS. So audio is good, awesome. So I think I found a workaround for that. Basically, we're taking the output of my ATEM into a HDMI input on my computer so I can use OBS and still do my switching and all that type of stuff. So hopefully this works out okay. Okay. Yeah, so let's see, switching. So you guys should probably see some Trident stuff on the screen now. Yep, I think we're good. All right, let me bring up what I want here. Cool, what's up? All right, so we have Robert, we have Chris, we have Renee, and my beautiful wife or kids. I don't know who that one is specifically. But hey, long time no see. Just felt like I should do a quick live stream. Not going to be anything too long or in depth today. Working on finishing up that Trident printer that you can see over my left shoulder. Left, right. Kind of hard when you look at yourself in the camera at the same time. But yeah, where have I been? It's been summertime, so I've been everywhere. I've been deep in the woods. I've been near Mount Washington. I've been in the White Mountains. I've been camping. I've got a new puppy. Maybe he'll make a guest appearance. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of stuff, but I have not been sitting down here in the basement because it's way too nice and beautiful outside during the summertime. So apologies for that, but we're back. It's towards the end of the summer now. We're moving into the fall. And it's a great season to get back into those hobbies, that maker vibe, and start making stuff again. So, yeah, that's where I've been for the most part. And not going away, but it is the end of my summer. And so the little thumbnail, is this the end? Yeah, it's the end of my summer, and we're back into the basement. It's kind of a bittersweet thing for me, I guess. Show the puppy. I don't have the puppy here with me. And the door upstairs closed, but if one or two of the kids and a wife want to try to get the puppy down here, we could do that. I think the puppy is 13 weeks now. His name is Rocky. He's a boxer. He replaced our previous boxer pup that only made it 2 years and passed away unexpectedly. That was very sad. We waited about a year, and now we got a new puppy. So really excited, very smart, cute little guy. So even if you don't see him today, we'll see him another time. Audio is a tad bit distorted, hot, but sounds pretty good. Okay, audio is a little hot. We can adjust that. We can do things. Let me, boom, boom, 1, 2, 3. All right, so turn that down just about a dB and a half. So that should be better. Anyways, so what do we have going on this fall? And this is kind of like what this live stream's for more than anything else, is kind of talk about where I've been quickly and talk about where we're going this fall, what we're building. So obviously we got to finish up that Trident printer. I've actually got a bunch of videos recorded already for that. Moving through the whole process, adding the additional things that I wanted to add to it, and basically working through that as a project. That's going to be done, or at least I'll be done recording it and done physically building it within the next couple of weeks. because I have to be, because at the end of this month, September, we're going to be receiving something relatively big in the mail. And I made an announcement in the video that's coming up after this as to what that specifically is. And some people already know. But just for you folks that are here, because there's not a ton of people on here anyways, but that's going to be a Rat Rig 500 millimeter VCore 4 IDEX machine. All the parts, include the IDEX, are on their way. So likely that we're going to see that probably in about 3 weeks based on the shipping times I've gotten. That's going to be huge. It's going to be hard to find space to build it. I have no idea what it's going to be like to build a 500 millimeter printer. The actual printer itself on the outside is roughly, for us American folks, 3 foot by 3 foot by about 3.5 feet tall. And I think I hear a puppy coming. Yep, I hear a puppy coming. Urgh. Yeah. This is Rocky. You gonna say hello? Want to give a kiss? Oh yeah, Rocky likes me. It's because I feed him, just like Keegan. I feed him, so he likes me too. But anyways, and Haley, you want to say hi?
Oh wow.
Hello. All right. You guys want to take the puppy now? All right. You got him?
Yeah.
All right. He's almost as big as you. All right. So that's the puppy. I guess we know who is watching. Chris says, hi, guys. Fuzzy Boy. Hello, hello. Let's see. Go back and read some of these comments. Renee with your carrot feeder, version 2. Generic V, sorry if I mispronounce it, but hello to you too. Nice to see you. Yes, he is a fuzzy boy. Rocky has a big head and paws. Yep. That's what boxers have, but they surprisingly, the paws don't mean all that much. They tend to have big paws anyways, so I don't think he's going to be huge. I guess probably around 60, 65 pounds, which is pretty big, but not huge. Hi fam, Renee said hi too. Puppy and kids, awesome. Yeah, we got everybody. I'm making a Rat Rig 500 as well. Arrive shortly, Brian says. Brian, we'll have to stay in touch. My email information is on the channel page, or you can just email kerm@builditbasement.com. Just like stay in touch with you if you're building one as well. We'll be doing it probably about the same time. I don't know if you're doing the IDEX as well, but we're doing that here. So I got the additional hybrid parts coming as well as the IDEX parts. I'm sure you probably got the early order email about ordering the IDEX parts. So I jumped on that as well. That was kind of one of the main reasons why I wanted to build that printer was, well, for one, the VCore version 4 with the hybrid and the IDEX. So, and being that it's 500 millimeters, you can really put that IDEX to use. It's one of the reasons why I haven't been so hot on the IDEX ideas, because you kind of lose some space there. But when you can actually mirror off and have, roughly 250 millimeter by 500 millimeter plates, it really expands things as to what you can do. You can actually print some large items by doubles, so it's kind of cool. Let's see here. I'm making, let's see, 5 millimeter is going to be used. Yes, it's going to be substantially huge. My normal area right over here where I keep my printers, the ones I use every day at least, is only, it's about 8 inches shorter than it needs to be to fit the Rat Rig in there. So I'm going to have to come up with something specific for that. And depending on how well that goes, I'm going to have to try to get Chris to help me piece together a final kit for a black box. So I'm hoping that we can put some real time down here with some builds. If I can figure out how to edit video quicker, that would be substantial help. So that's kind of the big thing, is the Rat Rig build, which will be starting, like I said, in about a month or so. Trying's going to be done. That comes with all the parts and pieces. It comes with all the printed parts. I do have concerns about the printed parts. I've seen, I mean, I don't want to be stuck up or anything, but I've seen some examples of the printed parts that come with the Rat Rig. I'm not saying they're bad, but some of the examples I've seen, and I don't know for sure if they're actually Rat Rig parts from Rat Rig, but people lead you to believe that. They look a little rough around the edges. I like nice parts, or at least I tend to try to like nice parts if I can print nice parts. Just finished up modding the clicky clack door on my 3030 IDEX as well. Cool. Building black box. Build it basement, building black box. Nick, you're building a black box or you want me to build a black box? I've noticed the same. What did you notice? What did Chris notice? I don't know what you noticed, Chris. And I don't know if Nick's building a black box or if he thinks I should. I don't know what's going on. Where am I? You build a box. Yeah, I'd love to. I'll be 100% frank about it. Hopefully I don't upset Chris here, but I'm waiting a little bit, and I can't upset Chris. Chris knows that I talk for real, and I think that's why he likes me, and that's why I like Chris, because he's honest as well. If you haven't watched Steve build his black box, go check that out. And I know a lot of people don't watch his videos that watch my videos, but there's also, because he has so many viewers, a lot of people watch his videos that watch some of my videos. But his stuff is extremely long, so I don't want to use the word tedious, but to somebody watching it that doesn't have full interest in it, it could be a little tedious. So it's been a long journey, but it's been a good journey because it's allowed both Steve to build a new printer, something he totally has not before, which will obviously take longer for somebody, even if you have a vested interest in 3D printing and you've built multiple printers, you get kind of used to things. Like on a Voron printer, there are certain parts that are just basically used over and over again just because, I hate to say this, but in the CAD, you already have parts that are kind of already set up and whatnot, and you can use them to build the new printer that you're working on as a team, so you kind of borrow. But the black box room has been completely new and different, so it's taken a little bit longer. But on top of that, he's been in communication back and forth with Chris quite a bit to work on modifications to the parts list, to some minor parts modifications, some changes to the instructions and things like that. So I guess for lack of better terminology, he has been kind of like the test pilot, and I'm hoping to ride on the wake of his wave in terms of when he gets his all finished up and whatnot, have those, those wrinkles. Speaking of wrinkles on my shirt here, matches my age. Ping. Yeah, iron out those wrinkles so when I go to build mine, maybe it'll be a little bit less difficult, maybe not be so tedious for some people to watch. Let's see here. I don't know, same build black box. Oh, Chris, okay, yes. Focus. I can't focus. So yeah, I'm glad it's not just me. Whether it be layer lines or some minor layer shifts and things like that. And I think part of it, because I've been in communication with them a few times about some different things, but I know they're trying really hard to get out. And I don't know if they didn't expect to get the orders that they received for the vCore 4, but I do know that they're trying really hard to get those out, as soon as possible. And part of that might be cranking up the printers just a smidgen too high, maybe, hopefully not some under extrusions or anything like that, but maybe a little bit more ghosting, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less precision on some of those parts than we like to see. But yeah, so I'll have to decide when I get the parts. I'll have to decide really quickly though, whether or not I want to reprint all the rat rig parts. That's going to be something we'll have to look at together when it gets here, right? So it'll be a learning experience, because I'll be honest and I'll show you what the parts look like, and if they look good, they look good. Hopefully some of them look good, and maybe some of them that look bad, we'll just reprint those. I'll find out specifically what the ASA or the ABS that they're using over at RatRig, so we get color match. But it'll be fun. It's all something. Getting back to Renee with the carrot feeder, the version 2, I guess a little bit of news here. The version 2 of that, which has been around for a while now, but it's been, again, that's another item, a little bit different because, the Rat Rig is a business that basically works with the community, whereas the carrot feeder is strictly a community open source product that basically has been adopted by some entities like Physic and some other entities that want to, basically make kits for it, because that can be profitable for people that don't want to do everything from scratch. There's been a lot of work on that. It's been progressive work. It's been good work. The version 1, I had very little interest in building. Everybody that's ever asked me about it, what I've always said is, yeah, I've seen people building them. They look really cool. Seems like a great idea. But if you can show me something that, you know, something somewhere where somebody built one and 6 months later, all the things that they've printed with it and, you know, show me how they like it right now, that might pique my interest a little bit more. But it just seemed like every time I saw somebody build one, it got built and then kind of went away. Got built and then went away. So you start to wonder why, because when you start seeing all these videos on YouTube where people are building things, you know, it piques your interest, you get interested in it, you want to do it too. But you might lose out, or you might not realize the fact that, are these things even getting used? Are they working the way they should? I mean, they work for the first 5, 10, 15 minutes, or 5, 10, 15 days, or weeks. Do they work for 6 months or a year? I don't really want to build something that takes me, you know, a dozen hours. It's not going to last a decent amount of time. So the version 2 seems to be able, a lot of things worked out. Still waiting to see some information on that, see if that comes out. But I'm not against building a version 2 at this point. Can you highlight some advantages of pin mod on Voyant gantry parts? Yes, I can. So it's the pin mods on the gantry and the pin mods in general. So pin mods on your front idlers, pin mods on your AB drives, basically anywhere that you're using pin mods. The biggest advantage is a 5mm bolt, which is what the center of those bearings and those parts are not 5mm. They're usually close to about 4 1/4, maybe 4 3/4, you know, 4.3, 4.25, 4.4 sometimes. They're not specific, they're not exact. They're screws. They're not meant to be machined in such a way. They're meant to be machined in such a way so they actually can go into the product that you're screwing it into, and then the binding happens when basically the threads bind against the other threads, not when the part binds against the other part, the outer diameter. So when you use pins, you're using something that's machined to a higher, or basically a higher tolerance in terms of not being so far away from 5mm. So when you put them together, everything kind of fits together well, to the point where sometimes you may even have to sand down those pins just ever so slightly to get them into the parts you need to use them into. Now, the benefit of that, there's actually a couple different benefits, but first and foremost is that if you put a bearing on a 5mm screw and try to wobble it, you're going to see a ton of wobble. I do it in all the videos where I do bearing stacks and I do pin mods. So you can go back and look at that if you're interested in that. If you do it on a pin, you're not going to have that wobble. So that's one thing. So anytime you have wobble, you're going to have additional wear, because anything that can move in a position or in a way that you don't necessarily want it to move in a mechanical product is going to cause vibrations. It's going to cause additional wears. It's going to do a bunch of things. So that's one. The biggest argument against the pins, meaning it's not worth the time or effort or anything like that, is that basically your belts are under tension all the time, which means all your parts are under tension, which is not 100% accurate. Your parts are under tension when they are basically, your belt's under tension, but when your belt's moving specifically from one direction to another, when you have that time period in between, unless your belts are overly tight, there's going to be a point of when that tension has kind of gone away, which means there's going to be a point where things can move a little bit more than they should. So there's that. On top of all that, I'm not a big fan of having the hard metal threads of a screw on the inside of a bearing or another part, because the actual contact points, as opposed to being contacted on the whole inside and outside of the screw or pin, it's only contacting on the outermost portion of those threads, which means that you have probably a little bit less tension or friction between the parts, but you also have the opportunity where that could cut into the bearing or the other part that you've got that screw into. So those are the majority of the reasons. Outside of that, it's inexpensive, it's easy to do, it doesn't take a ton of effort. You know, there's less chance of you squeezing the parts, especially on the AB drives, so that you basically, especially for people that haven't built a printer before, you don't screw those parts together so much that you kind of freeze up the parts, because you can't do that with a pin. So those are the primary reasons. Hopefully that wasn't too much. You asked. Let's see here. We went last week. Let's see. Version 1.1 went live last week. It includes QOL suggested by quality of life suggested by Steve and Luke. Still, it's going to be as quick as a single tool. Yeah. So Chris, 100%. And that's I'm grateful. I'm grateful that these people are pioneering, going through it. And it's only become, just like any other open source project, it's only going to get better with time. Unlike a manufactured thing where you're resting on the laurels of what you've built and you try to squeeze as much money out of it as you can. These type of open source projects, even though you're a business, you kind of blur that line a little bit, I'm sure, which makes you probably not as profitable, but basically makes you more part of the community. So I appreciate everything you're doing with that. And the build, 100% understandable, but people can build it with a single head, 2 heads, 3 heads, 4 heads, 5 heads. And that's where the cost kind of goes up as well. But yeah, Steve builds, Dragon, yep, improve it. I hate to leave you all fine folks, but Carmen, need to get some things done. Back to me to watch the video. Yeah, so speaking of that, so after this live stream, which isn't going to go all that long, I got a couple more things I'm going to talk about because I'm going to talk about some videos that are coming up. But once we get done with that, I'm going to kick this off. But basically, there's a premiere, which is basically the next video in the Trident series. So that's going to kick in if you stay on this stream after I end it. So yeah. So anyway, Renee, nice seeing you. Nice talking to you. Let's see. Have a good one. Have a good one. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. So a couple things. First and foremost, I guess I've already started test printing parts for the rat rig, and this is. You have to focus this a little bit. So this is the type of quality of part that it's not even showing up, that I'm looking for when I print a part. This is kind of an interesting part too, because there's no real good orientation to print it, so it doesn't have overhangs. But that's a print off my Voron printer. The only issue part was basically because the orientation was like this on this part. Or where am I here? Yeah, was right here at the very top of this peak. I know it's hard to see, but I'm hoping that my rat rig parts come out like this. If they don't, I'm going to reprint them. And I need to focus myself now. So, yeah. So Chris already knows about this, but we're going to do some HueForge this fall. I've been working with the software. I need to build my TD1. I reached out to Polymaker to see if they were interested in some way, shape, or form sponsoring some filament. They do some HueForge packs. Unfortunately, they already do a lot with HueForge, so they weren't too interested in doing that. However, they offered me some filament for my rat rig, which I don't really need at this point. But anyways, we're going to be building a TD1. There's going to be a video about that. There's going to be a video about the HueForge software, what that's like. If you don't know about HueForge, go and check it out. It's awesome. We're going to be playing with some minor parts, some things that don't cost a ton of money. I just received these in the mail yesterday. I'm not stuck up in any way, shape, or form, nor do I give people biased opinions based on people sending me things. But these are Chaotic Labs brand new hinge kit, or door mounting kit they want to call it, for the 2.4. So these include basically all the parts you need to mount your Voron doors. They're aluminum. They seem relatively nice. I already did complain about one thing on them, and that was with the insignia here. If they had basically just made this a little deeper and not colored it in, there could have been an STL file to print off your own color, so you could put your own in there. But I don't know. Just seems like a good idea to me. But probably deaf ears on that, because they probably already manufactured tens of thousands of those. We got our Leviathan, which is going into the Trident. We're going to be doing a video about that before we put it in, get onto the electronics of that. This is going to be 2448 volts in the printer. This one actually got sent to me. I have one from Chris from when I bought the kit, but this one actually came from LDO. Jason, I want to thank him for this specific one. The other one's going to be used in a different project. But basically, we're going to do our printer build with this, and this is really an interesting thing. If you're sick to the octopus, you want something that actually has a board that has reference to the the pins on the board. So when you're trying to wire things up, you don't have to go to a reference chart. This is awesome. If you want to do something special with your steppers, stepping it up, pun intended, I guess, to 48 volts. If you want to be able to do sensorless homing without playing with jumpers and whatnot. If you want a smaller factor board that it's not going to take up a ton of room. And finally, if you want a board where you can actually mount your Pi to it, and when I say that, it basically has a spot on the board so you can put your Pi on it, and then it comes with cabling and wiring so you can actually power your Pi off of your Leviathan. So all those things on that, which makes it pretty cool. So let's see here. Robert, got any opinions yet on Beacon, Contact, Voron, or Rat Rig? Okay, so talk about that real quick. And this is actually coming up in one of the videos here soon. Already recorded and whatnot, just hasn't come out yet. This is the Vitali mount that basically allows you to mount a beacon directly onto the bottom of this. This is super thin, super robust, because it's basically machined aluminum. It's a very nice part, very light, very strong, and that is going on the Trident along with the Beacon. Beacon has taken their sweet time to get the firmware out for the touch mechanism on the Beacon. The Eddy from Big Tree Tech doesn't seem to have that yet. Robert, just to kind of answer your question specifically, because we had some offline conversations, I didn't do any testing yet between the Eddy and the Beacon. I have played with the Beacon some, but the Eddy is actually requiring you to use their own version of Clipper to get the function, and I'm not huge on that, so I'm kind of waiting that one out a little bit. And again, with the Beacon, they're taking their sweet time getting that software or firmware out to do that. So it probably hurts me more than it benefits me, but I don't like to jump on things before they kind of get worked out. I never like to use version 1.0 of anything, but sometimes you have to, and we're gonna patiently wait, and if we have to wait too long, then we'll make our own moves. But right now, it doesn't seem we're gonna have to do that. So yeah, those are those things. I've also been playing with some automation stuff around this summer. Little things I've been doing with the printer and a product called Home Assistant. I don't know if any of you guys know anything about Home Assistant, but basically allows you to modify and kind of block things together inside of your home, light switches and things like that. And I just finished basically importing a Moonraker basically plug-in into my Home Assistant. And pretty soon back there, back there, those lights should blink, because this print that's going on right now is going to complete. So it's something else I'm playing with, and if you guys are interested in that, you guys need to let me know. Basically, I can do anything I want. So I can make it so I played around a couple things with this. Some of these are probably the safety people are probably gonna safety police me here, but I set it up so that when I was on my way home, once I got within a mile of my house from work, it would preheat my printer so I could print when I got home without having to wait. Which, I also did this thing here with this light blinking thing. I've played with it, basically doing an announcement on my Alexas throughout the house. Good, nothing lit up. I've done a couple different things like that. You can do basically anything you want to do. So anything you have that can take a command in, you can do a command out. It's cool stuff. So be cool to see his lights blink here in a minute. Let's see here. Needs to do a clicky clacky door. I'm trying to move from my Habitat to Home Assistant. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's just like everything else. There's so many versions of everything. It's frustrating to the new people because they don't know what to go with. But the thing is that there's so many things in this community that are mods for the printers and the things that we play with, or make or use as tools. That are good. So which one do they pick? They try to basically shoot the arrow, shoot the dart at whatever's selling the most, because these are manufacturers. These are companies that want to make money. So if they can sell 50 of one thing or 500 of another thing, they're going to do the one they can sell 500 of. And especially if it's more profitable, they look at those things too. So maybe they'll do it. Who knows? About moving from Habitat to Home Assistant, I made that move about 3 years ago, give or take. It's not very difficult to do. Just basically, I'm assuming using Zigbee or Z. Oh, see that? Print's done. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was going to work. I wanted it to do it during the stream, so I had to start a print that was going to end near where I wanted to end the print and make it do that. So it worked first try. So anyways, yeah. So Robert, I'm assuming that basically using a bunch of Z-Wave and Zigbee things, and basically just going to unassociate those, and then you have to go through the reassociation of on the Home Assistant. So yeah. So that's what I've been doing. That's where I've been, and those are all the things that we're talking about. The Ratwork's going to be a huge thing. Again, don't know where I'm going to build it to print it. I don't know where I'm going to build the printer. I did build or buy a Lazy Susan back there to make a stand. Tim from Duet 3D suggested that. I hit him up because he has built a 500. So I'm going to have to get a big old board of some sort and mount that on that Lazy Susan. I just don't know where I'm going to. My desk areas are only about 24 inches deep, so I'm going to be missing out there. I'm going to have to do something. I might have to remove everything off of this video editing bench and use this or something. So yeah. So anyways, glad you guys made it. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to have videos coming out. Like I said, got a bunch recorded. I'm trying to record a bunch in advance this year. So if I can stay 4 or 5 ahead of time, we'll have weekly videos come out, hopefully maybe bi-weekly reviews on some products, and then at least monthly live streams. I don't get a ton of people that join the live streams, but I know the people that do join them really enjoy them. So one more thing, the Discord, if you're not part of the Build a Basement Discord, I finally have opened it up 100%. That will be in the description of the video that premieres after this. But before that, I was limiting it down to like 7-day windows or 5 people or something like that. I was trying not to basically influx it. I still want to kind of keep it small and probably going to police it pretty hard. But yeah, that's going to be open to more people so we can have more people in there. On top of that, there is a couple of channels in the Discord that are specific to people that are members of the Build a Basement YouTube channel. So if you are a member of the YouTube Build a Basement channel and you join the Discord, shoot me a message. Let me know what your YouTube handle is, what your name is on YouTube, and I will then change your Discord to be a YouTube member Discord on my Discord. A lot of Discord here, and then you'll have access to those special. There's one video channel basically where I plan on just opening up cameras while I'm working down here. Voice and audio, and then there's going to be another place where I'm going to post files, not necessarily things I put on my GitHub or upload to printables, but other things that I might just be working on, simple things like, maybe a how-to. This is a camera mount. I had a camera mount break, so I designed one in 5 minutes and printed it off in 15. So things like that. So without any further ado, and with many thanks and hopefully many more to come, I want to wish you guys all to have a wonderful rest of your day, have a rest of your weekend, month, year. And if you stick around once I end this stream, which is going to be in about 30 seconds, you can catch the newest Trident build video. So thank you, Robert. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, everybody else that came in that maybe didn't speak. And everybody that did speak that I'm not mentioning. And I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you find something helpful in some of these videos, and hopefully we talk again. See you later.